All right. How you guys doing?
Doing well. How are you?
Good, good. Mr. Theo is
on the
Instagramming. He's always promoting. He's a machine. He is a machine. I love him. I love him. You know, what do you
Gotta get the right filter, you know.
No, he don't. He's hashtagging no filter right now. He don't need no filter. He's
doing your Strong Island radio stuff, trying to get it all hyped up. I know how hard it is in the radio world, getting listeners and all that fun stuff.
So, all right. First of all, I want to say the music was phenomenal.
It was very nice.
It was awesome.
Here's that money I owe you for saying.
You kicked it off. You know, because a lot of times the guys are a little more soulful, but you guys played a lot of tracks that had soul, but it was a little more deeper, a little more tribal.
Cool.
I loved it. That's actually more my style.
Us too.
So I just want to say the music was phenomenal. Both of you, really,
thank you,
really good. That was actually the first time I heard you guys together. I mean, I've heard you a few times, but you know, you're very versatile because you could play even harder than that at times.
One of the reasons why I like what we do is I think also the way the scene's changed too is a lot of people hire me to come on prime time, big thing, big vocals, big sing-along stuff or stuff I remix that's, you know, classic type stuff. So I don't always get to this stuff, and I don't always get to DJ after hour stuff as much. So this has been a great outlet to.
I was just about to say that must have kind of been good because you didn't have to worry about the pressure of a crowd or anything. You could really play what you wanted to play.
Yes.
And
I do like the other stuff. I do like playing. I don't want to make that mistake. The problem is the public.
Yeah.
I will say that is a big problem. Is people expecting me to play stuff, and I make it very clear I'm doing my thing with Gabe. This is our label party. This is our group stuff, but. It just doesn't convey sometimes, like you say, with people paying attention. You know, I feel bad. I don't want them to ever be, I want to say disappointed is the wrong word, but, you know, not understand what we're doing.
No, I loved it. Both sets were amazing, so I really appreciate it. I really enjoyed it. Now, so me and you, Theo, have known each other a really long time. I mean, we don't want to even say how long.
I don't want to say how long, but a long time.
A long time. So, how...
Skeeter Ranks, Steve.
Oh, my God, Skeeter Ranks.
How's your boy Skeeter doing? Yo, his boy, we'd be good to do a track, like the Sam Booty thing. Perfect. He was a killer artist on Nervous. So we could call Mike Weiss, steal the acapella, and do a whole thing.
I could get you the acapella.
I know. Actually, I like it. You had to sample all that. 100% went to them, right? To El DeBarge?
Quite honestly, I think they owe me some money, so maybe we'll...
we'll revisit that another time.
We all owe our sheets to Mike Weiss.
Yeah, we may have to go down there. But that's funny you said that. Skeeter is, you know, he's a family man now, and he really doesn't do any of that stuff anymore. Okay. So we may have to get the acapella.
Yeah, okay. We'll do that.
All right, so tell me how you guys came together, because I'm just curious. How did you guys meet? What kind of inspired you to come together?
You want to do it?
Because you guys do. You spin separately also, or
yes.
So when did you guys meet, and then what inspired you guys to put a little team together?
All right, I guess I'll take this one.
Okay.
Well, when I started DJing, Theo was obviously doing Neptunes, and that was I want to say 10 years ago now. So he was doing Neptunes. He was always in the limelight, you know, great parties, doing things that I obviously wanted to do. And at the time, you know, I was just learning how to produce. I was just learning how to, you know, get into the whole scene. And I would send him a couple of tracks and a couple of mashups, and he would actually play them at Neptunes, and, you know, they came across really well. And that's really how the relationship started. I think the very first one that I heard him play myself was when I went out to Glow. At the time, I think it was Mirage. It was a mashup called The Crowd Had 5 Seconds, and the first time I heard it, I was like, "What?" It was the first time I heard one of my mashups, so to speak, or productions through the speakers from a DJ that's playing in front of a lot of people. So it was really exciting. It was really nice, and then from there, that's really how it came around, and we just started talking.
Okay. So you approached him as a producer, doing some remixes and mashups, and then he started playing them, and then you guys started talking a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it also, he doesn't know this maybe, but I was going through this thing where I was working with a couple people, and it wasn't smooth, and this one guy was always fighting me on everything we were doing. Like he'd get into it, and then I don't want to mention his name, but he would like give up on it, on the project. And sometimes when you do a remix for a label, it's not always as smooth as you want it to be. I think you got to test it out, see if it really works, and you got to really want to keep pushing. So when Gabe wrote me, I was playing some of his stuff, but he wrote me like, yo, maybe we should do something. It was like a week before that. I said, you know what? I got to change everything. Like, I want to start working with new people and getting back to that old way that I always heard about from producers older than me, like, a community type thing. And it was like him and Leon Black at the same time both wrote me. And I said, you know what? Can you curse?
Yeah.
I was like, fuck it. I'm going to go to Queens one day.
Did you have to use the most extreme curse?
No, but that's really what I said. I said, like I'm sitting there, I'm like, fuck it. I'm going to go see Leon in Queens, and I'm going to go. Gabe had a studio with Ray Rock up on, how far is that? 106, 107 North, right? All
Yeah,
up in
just
No Man's
around there.
And I said, yo, and I went up to, I said, oh, where do you go? Like, let's go up to you. I'm like, whatever you want in your area. And same with Leon. And I was in that zone to want to work with people and bring back that old mentality. Like I always heard about, like, community kind of thing.
All right, so were you DJing at all? Or you were just basically producing and remixing?
Yeah, I was DJing just off the cuff, like some teen nights. Embarrassing to say, but the places where we all got started, kind of the guys my age. At the time, it was Dublin Pub, some of the Hofstra Strip, bars around there. The Club Shy over on Old Country Road. So I know those kind of things. Not really as much as I wanted to at the time, but I was DJing.
Okay. So how did you guys started doing projects together, remixing, and then when did it go into?
Yeah, we got together and we said what we want to do, and I think we were gonna maybe do something from scratch, but I think from experience, it just always seems it's easier to do a remix of something to see where you guys both, where your heads are at.
Yeah.
And since I was on Nervous, I had a CD coming out. And in the back of my head, I said, well, maybe let's do a Nervous acapella. I always had the freedom to do it. And if it worked, well, obviously we have some luck and we can get it out, or at least we could play it out. And then I was friends with Ralph Falcon and Oscar G, and I liked them. And Ralph had his record, I Need Someone, out like a year or so ago. And, we both like the same. He was very drummy, and I always loved drums and stuff like that. And then I said, well, let's do it like that. And we started working on this I Need Someone project together.
Okay. So tell everybody about a few of the projects that you guys started out working on, because you with Nervous, so...
Yeah, so that actually made it to my CD. So we played it out. I played it down in Miami for the first time. It went really well. Chus and Ceballos were there, all these guys. Oscar, like, oh, what is that? Whose remix is that? Did Mike give it to you? I'm like, no, I did it with my boy Gabe. We just got it done. We worked on it a long time. And I will say this, that I've said this a lot about Gabe, and I've even said it in front of Gabe, but I've been in the studio with so many people, and I guess that's how long we've been together, but on and off, it's never, ever a chore. I've never been with anybody where our heads are always in the same place, like, oh, we could use that, or it's a bongo, or a tom-tom, and we're always in that same frame of mind with this type of stuff.
Okay.
Like, we don't make trance, we don't make other stuff, but in this stuff, especially with drummy type stuff, or, percussive stuff.
So musically and creatively, you guys really gelled, always on the same...
Very much so. I think so.
Absolutely.
I don't think we've never had right? I don't think we've ever had a disagreement in the studio about.
Yeah, I mean,
music.
even records that we come across and we think they're gonna work, and sometimes we play them out and we look at each other at the same time and say, yeah, that's not where we wanted to go with that.
Okay.
But then we go back and change it, and we're still on the same mindset. So it's kind of
Yeah,
nice.
like we just did. Okay, so I challenged him. I said we have a theory where we do stuff, but I said, you know what, like. I feel bad. Sometimes I'm bringing stuff to him, and I'm like, "What did you grow up like? When you're in the car, and as a music fan, you're not always listening to like what you play out as a So I said, like, what do you like? What do you like? What do you, have sex with your girl? Like, like your wife? Like, what is it that you listen to other than that that inspires you? And he was like, well, actually, I grew up on this, and he's like, he mentioned a really dope house record that was good at the time, and I said, oh, I have that acapella. Like, that's perfect. No one's done it the way we make it. let's do it. And we just finished it and played it this past weekend. And
Yeah, it worked well.
It worked great.
Yeah, it was perfect.
And I was like, I mean, I know us, and I started thinking of all the guys we know that liked our type of stuff. And, there was fun because that's the fun part of it, which I know you know. It's playing it and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. So, when did it develop into where now we're producing and remixing these tracks? Let's start going out and spinning together. As a as a little team there.
Neptune, right? I
Yeah,
think I had
was
the
the first
pull
one.
to put stuff in there. We were doing other nights. I wasn't there as much, and I didn't want to be there as much. Whatever. But I thought, since we got along so well, and I saw what I was being asked, to be booked for. Like you said, I didn't have that element of I could play out that way. So I started bringing him out there and playing our stuff together, doing a guest set in the middle of a set. And that's kind of how it worked, right? And then Emporium, when I did the Christmas party there, I brought you out, and we did like an hour set, right, together?
Yeah, we did. The first thing was Neptunes over Jungle Party. That was the first party we did together. And then we did Emporium. I jumped on a guest set. And again, the same thing. It was, even with the DJing, it's always very, very easy. Very,
How did, give me an example, how you guys spinning together, you each, for tonight, you guys enjoy a lot of the same music. How do you know not to cross the line and go into and start playing tracks that he may play? And then, did you listen to everything he played?
Of course, yeah.
Okay, so you knew what he played, and then you say, okay, I can't play that one because he just played that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's we do like a lot of the same music, and it's at the end of the day, I mean, I know he just recently bought an EP that I love from the Pimiento EP.
Oh, yeah. I told you about that.
So, we do love the same records, and ultimately...
But I played the Verde. I thought you would play the other.
we do ultimately play a lot of the stuff that, we both enjoy. So, I mean, as long as people are dancing and we both
I don't
enjoy
care
the
ever
vibe,
if he gets to a record first,
it's fine.
Right?
So that's something I was just about to
ask you.
matter.
So when he plays first, you're listening to what he's playing also.
But we actually try and go to like Juice and Ceballos does it a way like we've always known, like they go sets at a time. We have been trying to go 2-3 songs and then to the next, and then sometimes we'll jump in yo I got this, and we also like bringing stuff to play with. I'll bring the RMX. We sometimes bring the Yamaha gear and play stuff. So we also try and incorporate. Tonight I felt bad we didn't have enough time and some wiring issues and stuff. But we like to play other stuff and percussive stuff while we're playing. So if he wants to play 4 or 5 records, I'll be tapping along and adding stuff, and vice versa. We used to bring the machine out too.
Can we tell everybody how I saved the day?
Oh yeah, please. Let's do it.
All right. So what you had?
Let's start off how you don't have any Nexus Pioneer products here.
Yeah, no, I
So
don't.
Lars from Pioneer, please contact Bobby La Serra.
Yeah, listen, you know
and
what?
hook him up.
Because quite honestly, I really can't afford that shit right now. And second of all, the DJs, I don't just have, a couple DJs. I have a lot of guys here, and most of them, they end up ruining shit, okay? Because it's not theirs, they don't care, and things get broken. But I would if anybody would like to sponsor us and give us some, a nice Nexus mixer and 2 CDJs.
Yeah.
I mean, I would mention your name every minute. You know what I'm saying?
They'll get a couple spots.
Whatever it takes. We'll put you on the banner every 5 minutes. We'll shout you out. But no, really, that would be awesome because right now I really can't afford it. But one of your adapters, you forgot a little part of it.
Yeah, the tractor plug, because we bring tractor out and we bring Pioneer out.
Okay.
Every time we spin with both the whole day, but especially with productions. But on the adapter is the plug to make it for England, UK, and everything. And I took it out of the bag quick, and I guess it stayed in the bag.
Yeah.
So we got all set up. We're ready to plug in, and the adapter's gone on the plug.
On the most important piece.
Gabe came to me, do we have an adapter? And we looked like 3 different ones. I had one that was the same voltage, but the end didn't fit. So I pulled a MacGyver, and I says, listen, if you really want to use this, I can cut your adapter, I'll cut mine, and I'll splice it together. And I feel, what did I say? I said 95% chance I think it'll work. And it ended up working. So at the last minute,
you saved the day. It would have been rough. We really would have had the nose sync.
Yeah, that would have been interesting.
No, that's cool. You know what? Sometimes things are just meant to be. So,
It was great.
You know.
I sweated like one of my armpits just really went strong from that episode before the show.
No, that's cool. That's a story we'll remember.
Oh yeah,
You know, we'll
it was to
totally
the very last minute. You were splicing your teeth.
Oh my God! But it worked, and it's all good. So, I wanted to ask you a question because there's a lot of people that we grew up with, a lot of people that were DJing that are still DJing. Everybody's doing their thing. Everybody's at different levels. But, what do you, and I'm not, what do you attribute, and I know you're a modest guy, so what do you attribute your success to? Because a lot of these DJs on Long Island, they get to a certain level and that's it. They just stay there. But you really have taken what you had, and you really, I always said it. I always thought that you were excellent at marketing and promoting yourself. I know you're talented. There's a lot of guys who are talented. There's a lot of great DJs on Long Island, but not many of them have the success that you have. Just curious.
One, thank you. I don't know about that. When I'm driving on a boat in Formentera around Spain, then you could say that. But
I knew you were going to say that.
But I would say this. I feel I grew up in a time, and I had a lot of people around me. Friends of mine, rep clotheslines. Don Bosweiler was from Bellport. He had a clothesline, Bayport. Remember Pervert?
Yeah.
I know you know that.
Yeah.
So Pervert Clothing, to me, changed the face of streetwear back in the day. And then Rick Klotz, who started Jive, and Stussy, Sean Stussy, obviously, which you couldn't get his stuff everywhere all the time when it first happened. But that mindset of marketing, branding, starting from nothing and how to build up your brand, I was around it and felt that it was very important. And also the taste of what you do. And, I guess I look at things sometimes in colors and things. And, I get these crazy ideas. I don't mind making fun of myself. I don't mind putting myself on Bo Derek's body and posting it. No, but I think it's funny. Like even our label, we called it Dynotech because we felt a lot of the techno labels and tribal labels are always so serious. It's it was always some adjective, sometimes it was just nice to have fun with it and be a little goofy or silly. I don't know what word is, but just not be as serious.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, I think the upkeep, I've always tried to work for an owner and give him 110%. I go to a place, I don't just say how can I make my money from them? How can I make the venue better? How can I tell the owners what's going on so the venue gets better, so it helps me, so I don't have to promote as much? I want the venue to be great. That's just me. I'm just saying I want everything to be great because then I think it helps you like a team. So I went to Neptune. I got hired to spin everything. I was spinning they made me play Macarena and weird stuff, and I was like, this is not for me. But you know what? I'm gonna hold on a second, and keep, doing the right thing and getting the manager out of the way, making him happy, and then playing what I want to play, and then eventually built the party up to where it was what I wanted to play. But that mindset is how I keep trying to do things. How can I make it what I think might work? I don't know.
I remember seeing a lot of things with, you would have a lot of girls with, the fake tattoos or wearing things, and I always thought that was
I made a lot of clothing, and I gave a lot out, and it was expensive. I mean, I was into American Apparel. I knew some of the guys there. I would buy the stuff, but I would buy it and promote my logo, which is, I always have this thing that, I think it's great when you want to have a logo, especially up-and-coming guys, but sometimes people, are already trying to get booked and worrying about their logo and worrying about the photo shoot, but, who are you as a DJ first before you even get to that? How do you know what your logo is when you're not even out about and know who you
have
are?
To find yourself first.
I think so, but I know you're trying to explain that to some people and they look at you
No, because everybody thinks they know it all. That's the problem.
I didn't say that.
I'm saying it. I can say that.
I think sometimes it's good to test the waters, get out there, figure out who you are, think about what you want to do, what your image might want to be, because it might change. And you can always change it. I haven't had the same logo all the time, but when I do it, I try and think about it. I did the shield. I look back into my ancestry, and if you look at the first shields I was making, I made a shield when 50 Cent, before he put his out on his album. So I was I didn't do it. Before that, I'm saying I was making a shield when I don't think anybody was making shields. But I did my ancestry. I thought about it a lot, looked into them. I bought a ton of books on shit. I was driving my artist, Chris Kenny, crazy, showing him these books like, yo, the shape has to be this because I'm part Austrian, I'm part this. It's got, so it's like I always, if I'm going to do it, I try and do more research on it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that helps.
No, that definitely does. All right, so I want to get into stuff that you guys are currently doing now, but I want to ask you each one question before we get into that. And I'd like to know who inspired you guys as far as a producer, somebody who you looked up to producing and remixing, and as a DJ. Both of you. You go first, Gabe.
I like a lot of the Spanish style productions, like the guys like Chus and Ceballos over in Spain. Those guys, I mean, they're very consistent in what they've been doing. So from a production standpoint, there's always rhythm, there's always percussion. So I really like their productions and all that. From a DJ standpoint as well, I mean, some of my first parties in that world, in that underground tech house tribal world, were really going to their parties because we're lucky enough to have them from Spain come over here. So it was really nice to get to see them more often than not. And funny enough, now they're here this weekend, and probably go out to say hello to them because now we're on face-to-face hello relationship.
So how does that
great.
feel now?
It's great. It's a cool accomplishment. It's cool to cool to be able to speak to the guys that you looked up to for such a long time. Yeah,
absolutely.
I think production-wise, like, there's a lot of guys we both like. A guy I like that I think has gone into a cross, like his evolution is probably Oscar G, because I think it's a guy that made Funky Green Dogs Fired Up a huge popular club hit. He made Dark Beat and records like that went on to be popular club hits. And he keeps coming up and still keeping his authenticity, his Miami, his heritage, his Spanish heritage, and keeping it going. But I was there at Space when he was playing the main room and playing some trance and playing stuff. We were the first people to bring him out to the Hamptons, and I remember having to hire him because he was on we wanted to get Paul Van Dyke, but we had to book people on this roster. And I saw his name. I said, yo, I saw him down in Miami with Andre when we were at one of the conferences. I'm like, he really knows how to DJ well. I said, he'll do really well out here, I think. I think, like, when you play a big room and you have to play different stuff, he would play what he would like. And, I think that production-wise, he's always kept it fresh. And then DJ-wise, my favorites, top three, and they'll always will be this. Carl Cox, Danny Tenaglia, Eric Murillo. They each, to me, embody three important things: showmanship, length of set, and incorporating different styles. Acapellas, instrumental, tribal. Danny, I mean, he might not admit it, but he will play certain trance records. Feel Free, he's door writer. Stuff like that, into his set minus all the other stuff. So it's like, Carl Cox was just amazing. I spun with him twice when I was on the Moby tour, the Area 1 with Moby, and I got to meet him. I was backstage with him. I got to go on. I babbled, like him. But you talk about a guy who was rocking 3-4 turntables. It was insane.
Well, we were talking earlier. Yeah, I saw him at Winter Music Conference going back many years, but I was just in awe watching him because to me he was like he did not stop working.
Was that the Crowbar gig?
I think it was.
Khalees came out for that too, and Puffy was there.
Okay.
And so it was a crazy night. But I know what you're saying. He was killing it the whole time.
Oh my God, he just did not stop. I mean, even when he wasn't mixing, he was just turning every EQ. He was making his own little rhythms out of everything. Yeah. He just did not stop. And I'm like, man, this guy is working it. He was just. I'll never forget him.
That good, and that's what we're talking about. Epic, I don't want to overuse a word, but like an epic set, or the guys that are that good, people remember. Oh, Sasha Digweed, Twilo November with the kickoff, or Carl Cox this. Like those are the sets you remember. You know what I mean? That I don't know if you can say that as much.
Well, all right. So I would like to know. Let everybody know what you guys got going on with the label and some of the releases. I mean, I'm curious. So don't hold anything back. I want to know everything because I know you guys gave us T-shirts. You got the hats here. Again,
yeah. I mean,
the marketing.
The label.
I mean, who doesn't love a dinosaur?
That's exactly
You know what I'm
how
saying?
the conversation came about. The label we established in about 2012, and the idea of it was, we had a lot of records and we were working a lot at the time, and we had a lot of productions. And when you send out tracks to labels, they just, you don't want to, as artists, you don't want to wait and wait and wait. It comes to a certain extent where you want to use those records as material so you can promote it and get the gigs and all that. And if the labels aren't responding, then your hands are kind of tied, So, that's how it kind of eventually just started. And we wanted to give guys, and, Theo mentioned before, he wanted to get a sense of community and, bring on other guys and help out other guys. So we wanted to also give it another outlet for local guys in New York and Long Island to, have an opportunity to be able to release on a label that will get back to them right away, So that's really how it started. The direction we're headed now, it's kind of the same thing where we have a lot of records kind of in the bank. We played a lot tonight, actually. I think I played around 6 or 7 of them that are all scheduled already for the next 2 months. So we're kind of excited about that to, start promoting new material that we've been working on all summer.
And where can people get these?
They're be coming out on Beatport, TrackSource, and obviously iTunes.
Okay.
That's where.
Can we let some of the names? Of
Yeah,
them?
Today one of our records just got released. Tribal Soul on Dynotech Records, out on Beatport, just got released today. And then
one of the first records I played also, one we're really excited about. It had a Spanish vocal in it called Capitanas. There's a local producer, actually, Kevin G. He runs his own label, Rhythmic Recordings. He's going to do a remix of it. So we're excited about that. Again, getting guys involved and, just doing things we want to do and not have to really wait as much on anybody else.
You know this too, and you would say this, is if you look back at some of the bigger guys, even if you go back to Tiesto, Oakenfold, and, there were so many labels back in the day, and you could have something out, and it didn't have to be on the biggest label, the Spin in the Positive, or before Spin in Positive, or one of those labels. So the mindset of not being able to get your stuff out, we do feel as bad. And like we said with the local community, is there are guys that you want to be. I mean, who are we kidding? We would want to be on CR2 or Tool Room or something like that. But we've given them records. A lot of guys have. I mean, I'm saying guys that did way more production than us. I talked to all these guys, and they wait 2, 3, 4 months, and that sound and stuff you're doing sometimes it just doesn't have the longevity of sitting over the winter. So we send it out to ones we want. We think it's the right record. We don't just say every record's great. I'm not going to play that, but we try and be like, oh, this is a good Dirty Bird record, or this is. We send it out to them. We wait. We think it's sufficient enough time, and then if they don't write us back, we want to at least get it out on our label. It's not like our label's so great or any of that. We don't feel that at all. We want to be part of other communities, but it's just tough sometimes,
No, absolutely.
And that you're shopping.
And a lot of labels, they have a lot of their boys who have their, they're trying to get their tracks on there, so they get inundated with so many tracks. So it's hard. So, I mean, that's awesome, because to sit around and wait, and like you said, and then 3-4 months goes by, and then the sound's changing a little bit, and now...
Well, I was working with this school out here a little bit, and they had some guys there that were like, I wanted to bring Kevin G in, because Kevin G has Rhythmic Recordings, which I think he puts a lot of time into, and has a lot of great guys. Who's guys we like on this doing remixes?
Angel Heredia,
and who else?
His cousin Vincent.
Yeah, but and then some of the guys down South America. What's his name? He did a remix of our record. But the point is that there's guys like that to me that put a lot of effort into their label, and then someone who looks back and will say well, they're not doing that much, or it's not that big a label or anything. But I don't think people understand how much effort goes into the label and getting other guys and other people from around the world to remix projects for you. Someone like that, a guy in Smithtown, Long Island, it's friends with people all around the world and a part of a community. You got to give a guy like that respect. You like I said, you want to be on a big Tool Room label or something like that, or whatever, but you can't always be. So the next best thing is look local and look at some of these guys putting a lot of time into their labels. Nice artwork, following up with everything, good distribution. It's a good outlet. You shouldn't look at that as a bad thing to me.
Absolutely.
Because other guys before you had their stuff out, and that's what I'm trying to get back to.
Yeah.
Had it out on some small bumfuck label from the middle of the Netherlands, and we can give many examples of it.
Awesome. So what are the goals for the label? Within the next few years, like what are you hoping to? What level are you trying to get?
I mean, I think at first and foremost, it's just getting a level of consistency that we're happy with. Consistency, looking ahead. A lot of times it's tough to, and we're at fault a little bit to work on projects, run a label, and make sure you're projecting ahead to make sure that you're ahead of yourself a little bit. That way, when something comes up, so a little bit of consistency in that regard. I think we really want to get into getting events done for the label. Dynotech Records events. Kind of, we have this whole theme now where we just started a radio show, and it's just vibed around. It's called Deep in the Jungle. So it's just all tribal house music. So, we really want to establish a tribal-oriented, fun event based on, the music that I kind of grew up listening to. That kind of really brought us together. All the tribal house music.
Okay. So are you accepting music from the submissions from other artists and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So tell everybody where they can get in touch with you. Also, as far as an artist, do they like to submit a track? And then also just the general public, if they'd like to follow you and see what you guys are, the type of music that you're putting out, where you're spinning, stuff like that.
Yeah, we run everything through our website. We have dynotechrecords.com, and also on Facebook, Dynotech Records, and Instagram, and then we also have the Theo, Gabe Ramos pages and stuff and everything. Oh, that's when Gabe was signed to a deal in Miami, a company, and we were calling like Theo and Ramos at first, and then he wasn't allowed to use his name, so we were trying to think of something to like a group name. So we came up with Theo and Gabe, the initials, Tag.
Okay.
And at the time, I used to be in Crush Sounds, Will Fulton. We used to do all the break breaks. Yeah. But sounds always meant like that reggae influence, like it was bigger than big. And he, right here, is a big soccer player. And United is obviously, big soccer.
Manchester United, yeah.
So we took the soccer element, the old reggae influence that I had, and then our names, it came out with Tag Sounds United, like a sound.
Yet another example of a very well thought out.
So it's almost like your sound system, your production. Yeah.
And we thought that like when we incorporate people, whatever, but then when he got out of this other deal, and like he was using his name for other stuff, and I was like, I like your name. I don't want to hide his name. Like I always wanted to use his name.
Yeah.
We decided to go back to using our names, and that's it.
Awesome. All right, so is there anybody you'd like to shout out or before we go?
Well, we did shout out Kevin, like local label guys, and Vincent Blind, those guys, and I don't know what else. Shout out.
Well, I know you did mention a lot of people.
Yeah. No, I mean, we're just happy that all the guys that are doing this stuff, and thanks, and Mike Weiss and the Nervous Record crew, and all those guys that help us out, and Oscar G, who plays like our records, and Tom and Ralph and Junior Sanchez and DMS12, all these great guys that, when you do send them stuff, they do the right thing. Choosing them once a year, like right. Now those guys are tough. A lot of guys are busy, but it's nice when they do support. And then and also thanks to Gregor Salto. He was nice enough to remix our Sam Booty, which was a big vocal record we did. We didn't play that tonight, but he remixed it, and that whole crew that he rolls with supported that record a lot, so that was nice to see.
All right, is there anything that we didn't mention that we want to talk about, or did we?
You guys did a great interview. Very good interview. Yeah.
All right, cool.
Touched on everything.
All right, well, it's nice to meet you.
Yeah, definitely pleasure.
And as usual,
always
my man.
And the place is beautiful.
Thank you so much. Really I'm glad you came, and please don't be a stranger. I would like to have you guys come back. So
great.
Whenever you
maybe
can.
we can even have some guys we're working with. We'll cut down the set, so we'll have like 30, 30, 30, something like that. Be fun, right?
Absolutely. So
show some love. I mean, I think
if you'd
cool.
like to figure something out, we'll give you the night, and you guys.
And some guys are coming into town, so maybe we'll get some fresh blood.
Absolutely, that would be awesome, because we always tell people we're not a little clique here. We love to bring in.
No, I appreciate it too.
Yeah,
it's nice,
so
and I like you've had that thing your whole life. You understand how important.
Absolutely.
It is to,
so we're not trying. We're not trying to close ourselves in here. The door is open for anybody, any DJ. We would love to have you come down. So hit us up, and we would love to have you guys come back and.
No,
and
appreciate it.
bring
Thank you.
Yeah,
Definitely,
great.
definitely.
I just want to shout out DJ Traction over here behind the boards. He's been taking
I'm
care
hiding
of the
over
sound.
here.
He's the video.
He knows his stuff.
So, like, all I can say is, we have, you look at the flyer and there's like 7 people on the flyer,
yeah.
but most of the time it's me and Traction. All right, so
I saw
Traction-
Rob James right in the middle of that one. I was expecting
Yeah.
him to be here doing his.
Yeah, well, you know what? The Unity Party
I
is
know
Yeah, I was
tonight,
gonna
so-
say, let's shout out that real
Yeah,
quick.
shout out
Yeah,
to
shout out
everybody
to
at the
them.
Unity Party. But yeah, Traction, from me to you, thank you so much. I really appreciate you.
Oh, no doubt,
Oh,
man.
that's
You
nice.
know, I've been part of Strong Island for quite a while now. It has to be going on like 5-6 years now or
Yeah,
something.
you're getting old.
Yeah,
you're
I'm
getting old.
becoming an OG over here. So,
That's good.
But I totally enjoyed the sets. Just you talking about pushing the Protect Your Neck record. Like, you can even hear some of that hip hop influence in some of the tracks you're playing
Yeah.
too, and everything. The both of you. And
Those are our but that record is that was with the Big Daddy Kane sample. Breaking is our record, and that is a live piece from the UK that these other British guys used for a track, but it was just a free acapella thing. But yeah, I came to him and I was listening to Big Daddy Kane, and I said, yo, I always wanted to make like a house record out of that, and we were into Non-Stop. Remember they used the EPMD? You might not.
Yeah.
Well, remember it's an EPMD sample, and EPMD's from Long Island.
Yeah.
And these guys on the Tiger label, which is Sharam J's label, had Non-Stop, and I'm like, oh, that's such a good idea. They made like a house record out of it, and I was like, yo, I think we could do something with this thing. What can we do? And we just sampled it up right away, and we started messing around. The bass line just rolled, and then we're like, oh, we just need a big acapella. But then we went, we found something. But the point was, yes, it was that hip hop influence and being open-minded and working together and not any.
Absolutely.
He'll dig up some Swahili thing or something. I'll be like,
Yeah.
that's killer, like awesome. I'll be like,
Uh-huh.
again, it's just being open to different
Absolutely.
ideas. And everybody might like it, which is cool. We never ever. It's all right if you don't like our stuff or anything.
but that's what keeps it fresh for you too.
Yeah.
Always being open to everything that's coming your way.
I think there's so much great stuff out there. I really do. I think that I listen to stuff sometimes and where people's heads are at, and I'm like, oh my God, I love this. I can't wait to play it like for people. And that's like what we do. I think as DJs.
Awesome. All right. So
Thank you again.
Yeah, man, you guys got great chemistry, and I wish you the best for the future.
Appreciate that.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very
Thank you.
much.
Thank you so much.
Tune in always. Strong Island.
StrongIsland.com, my house show. We'll see you soon.